the bull run. If you're looking at a Bitcoin chart, basically this move, not over. And this Bitcoin chart, what does this area right here on Bitcoin have to do with Cardano? I was digging into some data. I'm very excited to kind of present to you just a little bit of a different perspective. We're going to bring the ETFs and the story of the ETFs for Cardano into play in terms of Cardano's own bull market. So hit the subscribe and like on the way in. And let's just start first, just a couple pieces of, crypto data points, crypto news, whatever you want to call it. This is some on-chain data I wanted to go over. This plays into crypto in general. And then we're going to really look at Cardano charts. Even on the zoomed in, I want to do some analysis. But bull run is not over. Historically, these lower hash price periods have aligned with the bottoms of Bitcoin prices, suggesting that the current low hash price might be signaling that Bitcoin's price is nearing a bottom. There is so much on-chain data, everybody. And this is something that I'm becoming very interested in gathering, and we are doing it. The amount of different data points and perspectives that on-chain metrics offers us to get a guide of cycles and what's happening is crazy. And this is just one of them. But if you look at BTC price in black and then hash price down here in orange, just look at the repetition. Now, one thing that I think interests me so much is if you've been watching my videos lately, we're always just cross-referencing different indicators and pieces of data. And if you look at this chart alone, this one piece of data, BTC price versus hash price, really does play into a lot of this macro data in terms of like where we are in the cycle, right? 2 cycles ago back here, last cycle right here, and now this cycle right here. It seems like there's something in store. And when we look at other indicators, that's a very similar story playing out. Now, the one thing I want to also mention in terms of this bull market not being over, or the bull run is not over, is this. It's just a very simple reminder. It's not rocket science. We are around just over 300 days after the Bitcoin halving, this white line. Last cycle, it was 530 days or so after the Bitcoin halving where Bitcoin topped out. The cycle before that, 518 days. The one thing to note across all of these cycles is the volatility, right? And in bull markets too, it's absolutely slowing down. So Bitcoin especially is entering kind of a different era of growth. And the upside to 1 million and above is there, obviously. But the way in which it gets there is going to be different. And I think we have to make very strong note of how that might look, right? And even this move playing out right now is very important to that. But when we look at all of the data, on-chain metrics, even indicators, the dip that we're in right now is happening. It's even actually something we've anticipated, the inverse head and shoulders throwback to the neckline. But in my view, and according to many other people and pieces of data that we see, the bull run is not over. This also is just something I wanted to tie into this story of the bull run not being over, and then we're going to look at Cardano. The SEC has released guidance that meme coins are not securities and are akin to collectibles. This was just happened. This is the White House AI and crypto czar, David Sachs. He just posted this, and here's the post. Obviously, I'm not going to read it all, but basically officially declaring, SEC officially declaring guidance, releasing guidance, meme coins are not securities. All the while, here's basically a recent post I did earlier because SEC just dropped the case against consensus. Look at these previous days. They're just dropping cases left and right. If it's not clear, we are entering this period of deregulation. The anti-crypto army has lost. Yes, there's a lot going on from kind of this macroeconomic perspective. I think it's going to be a little short-term pain, but the long-term gain, just even for US and the economy and all that, I think is going to be massive. But for crypto, ground floor. I mean, I realize there's a lot of people out there, including myself. You would have loved to be in Bitcoin like at the very beginning. And it just so happens cycles later, we're here tracking the data, but I'm telling you, this space is still so early. And now we pivot to Cardano, and this kind of, before we look at the Cardano charts, this is going to tie into really us being early and kind of where we are in the crypto bull run even. So Tim Draper, I don't know if you saw this. This was yesterday. We're very excited to partner with Cardano Foundation on the Draper University I think university, ex Cardano founder residency, and support UTXO-based startups building the future of Bitcoin DeFi. And I just posted this right before I went to do this video. Bitcoin bull, think about this. And then we'll look at the charts. But Bitcoin bull and VC crypto influencer Tim Draper, with a net worth of $2 billion, has partnered with Cardano to support Bitcoin DeFi startups. There is a massive shift of narrative happening. This is one little piece of it. Even just YouTubers and content creators, massive followings, shifting to realizing the bullishness of Cardano, everybody. People that just have talked a lot of trash about Cardano, you're seeing this bullish content. One of the most underrated Cardano headlines right now, a Cardano and Bitcoin storm is brewing. Cardano is about to have its moment. I really think it's coming together. And when I was thinking about that and kind of looking at Bitcoin ETFs and Cardano and what's happening with Cardano, I started thinking about the timeline of Bitcoin ETFs and now the timeline of Cardano ETFs. And I was talking to Grok about something along the lines of the timing. There's two things I want to point out to you, and this plays into Cardano and the charts we're about to look at. So if you remember, like just timeline, BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, had filed for a spot Bitcoin ETF, right, on June 15, 2023. And if you remember, that sparked a wave of refilings, new apps from all these other firms, Fidelity, WisdomTree, all those firms. Remember, that was June 2023. If we want to go look at the chart, we're looking at like right around here on the chart, okay? That was happening for Bitcoin. Now, if we continue this kind of timeline perspective, the period from August 2023 to January 2024 marked the critical stretch when the filings were inching toward the finish line. So this right here, with December 2023 serving as the final buildup to the historic decision. August to 2023 to January 2024, if we go to the Bitcoin chart, this entire range, that buildup, right? And notice, even like if you look at August, right, you can just see pretty red and down even, with all this bullish spot Bitcoin ETF talk. And that marks something very special for Bitcoin. So what I found interesting about that is at that moment, Bitcoin was around 62% from all-time high. And if we go to ADA right now, ADA is in that moment. If we take that square over here, right, the filings for Bitcoin spot ETF happening, ADA is like right here. And ADA, it's not 62% from all-time high. It's a little bit more. But you can just see 79, 80% from all-time high at this moment of the cycle. And by the way, if we look at the chart zoomed out, last cycle in this very similar piece of structured move is 94% down. And we know what happened next. But now ADA is within kind of its own little ETF narrative right here. And I don't know what the structure will look like, but imagine just for a moment if ADA does something similar to what Bitcoin did back here, right? And we can kind of take it August to the nice little Bitcoin move, and we can just chart it over here. Maybe we go down lower. Maybe we test that 50-week moving average, 55 cents, right? But we speed this up. Who knows what could actually be in store? And I just want to say, I know this is absolute crazy speculation, right? Especially this chart. But look at even this fractal. Look, we go lower. Cardano bounces. We get the right shoulder set up. There's our neckline. Even this fractal from Bitcoin looks insane on Cardano charts. Insanely realistic. So I wanted to kind of just put that piece of data out there because I know we're following so many different things on all of the different charts. But for Cardano, I think macro-wise, there's something very special brewing. And not only just for the crypto bull market, but I think for ADA charts. And I just want to mention in terms of short-term price action, because I know everybody's watching it, even though everybody's kind of like sentiment is not great. We have this bullish divergence on the daily. I really am thinking that it is almost time for a test of the 20-day and 50-day moving averages. So a move to around 86 cents to around 74 cents, I think could be, I mean, it could be imminent. And the reason I look at that and I say that is very simply not just because I'm just trying to just toss hopium out there, but we get into very similar RSI moves, kind of bullish divergence moves for ADA. It doesn't mark the bottom and say, you know what, we're exploding, we're breaking out of it all, we're going to put in a new high. But at the very least, when we get moves like this, similar to what's happening right now, we have to continue monitoring this. But when we get moves like it, you can just see, what does ADA do? It pulls into or above the moving averages, right? Even back here, right here, testing those moving averages. We can even zoom back. We have a move right here. What's it doing? It's just pulling into moving averages, if not breaking above and just consolidating around. All the way back here. This is back here in 2022, right? The kind of a capitulation bottom of the bear market. What did it do? It pulled into the moving averages. So I'm not saying that we're getting this move, this RSI move, so therefore ADA is exploding out of it all and just gonna go to new all-time highs. But I am saying I would not be surprised, maybe a little bit lower on this chart. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some type of power move to at least test the area, maybe even break above it. The continued question will be, if it gets above all these moving averages, do we start seeing daily candles closing above all moving averages and ultimately seeing higher highs and higher lows above the moving averages? That's ultimately the move we want to see. And that's just going to take time and patience for us to get there, right? So that's what I'm watching on the short-term price action of ADA. But I thought the Cardano ETF was interesting as it relates to the Bitcoin ETF, especially when we have all these indicators going off in terms of potential bottoming out. And obviously, we talk about it often. We can go lower. Remember, even Bitcoin on the weekly, it has not reached its neckline target yet. Even the 50-week moving average is below the neckline, around 74,000. So be prepared, be cautious, but that's what we're looking at. And everybody, real quick, hit the link below. Launch the Discord today. Very excited about it. Not going to go crazy into it, but you go in there and you'll get some info. We hit 1,100 members already, really within hours. So with the sentiment that we have out there right now, that's exciting. So I'm very excited about things that are going on. I'm very excited about crypto. If you're out there, you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe, turn notifications on. And if you enjoyed the video, please smash that like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.